It looks like the question everyone is asking surfaced before officials had released any clear answers. Not from investigators, not from emergency crews, but from a chilling voice caught in the background of what should have been nothing more than a standard maritime emergency call. Even more unsettling, the very same caller had confidently assured dispatchers that every person aboard the vessel was safe, showing no hesitation and no visible concern. Yet those haunting words hinted that the situation may have been far more serious than anyone initially believed, leaving behind a mystery that only deepened as new details began to emerge. It was the same emergency call, the same recording. Yet within seconds, it seemed to tell two completely different stories. In this investigation, you've already seen the GPS timeline. You've heard the conflicting witness statements. You know what the autopsy reportedly revealed. But there was one detail almost no one noticed, something hidden inside an official records release, buried beneath layers of static on an emergency call that has already been broadcast across the country. As one voice calmly reassured the dispatcher that there was nothing to worry about, another sound in the background raised questions no one could easily explain. When that recording was reviewed more closely, investigators and independent observers reportedly noticed something that didn't appear to fit the version of events the family says they've been told. Since the 4th of July, Nolan Wells' family has continued searching for answers, convinced that key pieces of this case remain unresolved. And what you're about to hear could become one of the most talked about developments in the entire investigation.
Speaking, how can I help you?
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership.
All right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles?
What'd
Hello?
you say? Hey.
Yes, how far is the water coming up, sir?
It's coming up. We're just sinking. I don't know. Like we're going down now.
All right, well, let's get you going. Membership number or phone number listed on that account, sir?
I don't know the phone number. It's either Jerry Atkinson. I think it's Jerry Atkinson. Try that.
All right.
I know we have a membership, like guaranteed. I don't have the tag on
unless you
here.
have a
It got ripped
membership
off.
number or anything, it's okay. I'll get you over to the captain. What's the best phone number to reach you at?
Reach me at 2.
All right. And is everybody on board in good health otherwise?
Yeah, everybody's
How
on
many?
board.
All right. Do you need the United States Coast Guard?
What?
Do you need the United States Coast Guard?
No, we do not need that.
All right. All right. Do you have your current GPS coordinates?
Let me go look.
If not, I can send you a text message.
North. Alright, are you ready?
Yes, sir. I'm available.
North 30 degrees. But 4672.
All right. 4672. All right. And you were breaking up a little bit. Can you just repeat it one more time to make sure I have it correct?
Sorry, look.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, what?
So you're breaking up. If you need assistance, do you have a VHF radio?
Yeah, we do not have the VHF radio.
All right. Well, let's try to get you going because you don't have good cell phone reception. Can you verify your coordinates one more time?
Okay, my coordinates are 30 degrees by 14.684 north, and then west by 88 degrees by 46.79.
Right, looks like you're on Horn Island, correct? Are you
Yes,
on
we are
Horn
at
Island?
Yes.
All right, is the boat sinking or you have it aground?
We were sinking, yes.
Is it aground is the question?
No, we're not aground. We are in
Okay.
17 foot of water. We're in 31 foot of water.
All right, have to ask. What do you want to do? Do you want to be towed back?
I want to get this boat unsank and towed back, yes.
All right, where would you like it towed to, sir?
You can tow it to Ocean Springs or Fort Bayou launch.
All right, how many adults and children on board?
No, there's no children.
So, is there anybody on board? How many adults, sir? That was the question. Hello, can you hear me?
Gotta jump in and pull the plug, Bart, while you're going.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Yep, I just need you to answer these questions so I can get you over to the captain.
Okay.
How many
what's
adults
going
on board?
There's 0 adults on board.
There's nobody on board the boat?
No. Nobody
right.
here is over the age of 21.
Sir, that was not the question. Is there a person? Is there a person, a living individual on the boat?
Hello?
Is there a living person, someone breathing on the boat? Is there anybody on the boat?
Yes, there's lots of people breathing on the boat.
All right, how many people, sir?
Like 7.
All right, thank you. Does everyone have life jackets on or available to them?
Yes, we have life jackets available.
All right, verify what boat's sinking.
A Triton, 22 foot offshore, 22 foot Triton offshore sea flight hull.
All right. All right. Please hold. I'm transferring you to the local captain now.
Okay, thank you.
This is Captain Seth.
Hi, Captain Steph. This is Vicky from International. How you doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
Good, good. I apologize ahead of time. I really do. You're going to have a fee-for-service come up under Jerry.
Okay.
It sounds like a bunch of kids on board on Horn Island. He's letting me know that his father's a member, but he can't give me any information. And he's saying the boat is sinking. And he's on Horn Island. It's just unfortunate. He's just a kid. There's a lot going on. So
Right.
he said there's about a lot of people on board. He says he thinks about 7. I'm guessing they're all under 18.
Okay.
And I'm not trying to be rude. He wants you guys to go out there and unpump the boat and then tow it in.
Do you know what kind of boat it is?
He said a Triton 24 footer, but that's all he can give me.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I just actually got off the phone with his grandpa, who I'm guessing is the owner of the boat, and
Is it
he
Jerry?
said that Jerry. Yeah, he said.
Okay.
I just hung up with him. He said that they don't need any help right now, but if something changes, he'll call me back. So
Oh,
I'm guessing that they may have figured it out, because that's what he said. So they're in a panic and their boat won't crank.
yeah,
Or,
they're in a panic. He's saying the bilge is not keeping up. I asked for Coast Guard. He said no, but he's just really upset on the back end. And, I get it. It's a
Okay.
kid. He just doesn't understand.
oh, okay. Do you still have him on the line?
Yes, I still have him on the line. And again, I couldn't find, he couldn't give me anything regarding his grandfather's, membership, so it's just under Jerry fee for service.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I just talked to, if you want to, we're so tied up right now, we can't really do any non-member jobs right now.
Is Jerry a member? Did you find out if he was a member or not?
Yeah, but I'm not sure if it's his boat or what. I'm not sure what's going on with it. But yeah, transfer the kid over. I'll talk to him, and then I'll call his grandpa back as well.
All right. And did you want me to look up Jerry's membership number or anything like that to see if he's up? I know you guys are
You can
swamped.
try this cell phone number.
All right. Yep. Jerry. Yeah, he's an active member. Hold on.
What kind of boat do you have on there? Same boat?
Yeah, he's one. Yeah, he's one of your members. Yep, 22-foot Triton. All right. I'll just disregard this one. I'm gonna send you over accurate one under this Jerry Ackerson one, okay? He's one of your members. You'll get in a couple minutes, okay?
Okay, perfect. All right, and yeah, just transfer this kid over whenever you get a chance.
All right, transferring now. Thank you again, Captain.
All
Stay
righty.
safe out there. It's crazy. Have a drink.
Oh, it's wild. All right.
22 days into the investigation, one fact continued to stand out. There was still no official cause of death, no official ruling on the manner of death, and no confirmed date of death listed for Nolan Wells. According to an independent autopsy announced during the National Association of Black Journalists Convention in Chicago, forensic pathologist Dr. Roger Mitchell stated that those determinations had not yet been officially established. The examination, funded by Colin Kaepernick, immediately drew nationwide attention. On its own, that revelation seems significant enough to dominate the headlines. But while those findings were being presented publicly, another development was quietly gaining momentum. A detailed review of an audio recording reportedly uncovered something that many believe deserves just as much scrutiny. The recording appeared to capture Nolan's name being spoken aboard a boat where officials have said he was not present. Whether that audio ultimately changes the course of the investigation remains uncertain, but insiders say one of these developments could eventually become a central focus if the case moves further through the legal system. As Nolan's boat that Nolan Wells reportedly boarded earlier that day after leaving the Ocean Springs dock. Like the other alleged background statements, this interpretation remains the subject of public analysis and has not been officially authenticated by investigators. Yet together, these disputed sounds have transformed what once appeared to be a routine assistance call into one of the most closely examined recordings connected to the entire investigation, with many believing it could raise even more questions as the case continues to unfold. He appears to be on the boat. Moments later, someone who listeners believe is identified as Wyatt is seemingly told to check another person's chest. If those interpretations are accurate, they exist within the very same recording where the primary caller calmly assured the dispatcher that everyone on board was safe. Two versions of the situation appear to exist at once, and that contradiction has become one of the biggest unanswered questions surrounding this case. Whether those background voices mean what many believe they do remains a matter investigators have not publicly confirmed. Then there is the GPS data. Unlike memories, interviews, or eyewitness accounts, digital tracking records every movement automatically. It doesn't rely on recollection. It doesn't change with time. According to records obtained during the investigation, the vessel's Garmin GPS continuously logged its location throughout the afternoon. What those records reportedly show, during the next 53 minutes, has become another major focus of public scrutiny. A boat believed to be taking on water would normally be expected to move with urgency toward the nearest safe location. Instead, according to the downloaded Garmin tracking data, the Triton vessel traveled approximately 2.7 miles between 4:31 p.m. and 5:24 p.m. on July 4th, while moving at speeds ranging from roughly 0.6 to 4.22 knots, remarkably slow progress over nearly an hour. According to reports, those GPS logs were downloaded from the vessel on July 8th by Mississippi Department of Marine Resources officer Shay Smith, converted into GPX format, and later plotted over satellite imagery. Supporters of the family argue that the digital timeline raises questions that have yet to receive a public explanation. What makes that sequence especially notable is where it falls within the overall timeline. The maritime assistance call reportedly occurred during that same 53-minute window. During the call, the caller described the boat as sinking and indicated the situation required immediate help. Yet the GPS data reportedly reflects a vessel moving at an unusually slow pace, before later accelerating dramatically and heading directly back toward the dock. Observers continue to debate how those two timelines fit together, while authorities have not publicly explained the apparent discrepancy. According to the GPS records, the vessel arrived back at El Camino Railroad around 5:44 p.m., remained there for approximately 8 minutes, and then departed once again. That return to the water has generated additional questions, because investigators have not publicly provided a detailed explanation for every movement recorded after the boat reached shore. Meanwhile, another key figure in the case, Warren Hudson, addressed investigators after much of the GPS information had already become available. By then, the vessel's recorded movements and timestamps had reportedly been documented. During his interview, Hudson described Nolan as one of his closest friends, saying they had known each other since middle school, and that Nolan appeared to be doing well throughout much of the day. But during a later portion of his public account, Hudson introduced another detail that had not previously been discussed. He explained that shortly before Nolan disappeared from the group's immediate view, someone informed him that his younger brother had become involved in a fight on the island. According to Hudson, that unexpected distraction pulled his attention away, leaving him unable to account for Nolan's final moments before the boat departed. For many following the case, that explanation became another point of discussion, because it addressed one of the most critical periods in the timeline. Boat that Nolan Wells reportedly boarded earlier that day after leaving the Ocean Springs dock. Like the other alleged background statements, this interpretation remains the subject of public analysis and has not been officially authenticated by investigators. Yet together, these disputed sounds have transformed what once appeared to be a routine assistance call into one of the most closely examined recordings connected to the entire investigation, with many believing it could raise even more questions as the case continues to unfold. Taken together, the disputed audio, the recorded GPS movements, and the preliminary autopsy findings have left the case surrounded by unanswered questions. While the official investigation continues, several of its most important conclusions, including exactly how Nolan Wells entered the water and what happened during those crucial moments beforehand, remain unresolved. That uncertainty continues to drive public interest, as many await further evidence that could finally connect the pieces of a timeline that still appears incomplete. Taken together, the disputed audio, the recorded GPS movements, and the preliminary autopsy findings have left the case surrounded by unanswered questions. While the official investigation continues, several of its most important conclusions, including exactly how Nolan Wells entered the water and what happened during those crucial moments beforehand, remain unresolved. That uncertainty continues to drive public interest, as many await further evidence that could finally connect the pieces of a timeline that still appears incomplete.
I heard from any of their local officials that Nolan was found face down, fully clothed. Well, that's significant to us because the last time we saw him on the videos, he was without a shirt. So at what point did he put on a shirt? Somebody saw something.
The most fundamental questions in this investigation remain unanswered. According to the independent forensic review, no official determination has yet been made regarding exactly how Nolan Wells died. Dr. Roger Mitchell explained that the condition of the remains limited the extent of the examination, preventing investigators from reaching several definitive forensic conclusions. Even so, before those limitations became a barrier, he reportedly documented an area of red discoloration in the soft tissue at the back of Nolan's head, a finding that has since become part of the growing public discussion surrounding the case. In investigations involving a suspected drowning, especially when the person was known to be a capable swimmer, one question naturally becomes central: how did that individual end up in the water in the first place? According to those following the case, that question remains unanswered. Public officials have not yet released a definitive explanation describing the circumstances that led to Nolan entering the water, and that uncertainty continues to fuel calls for additional transparency. The state's medical examiner reportedly completed a separate autopsy on July 7th, more than 2 weeks before Dr. Mitchell publicly discussed his preliminary findings in Chicago. However, that official report has not yet been released.
Discuss the evidence, the interviews, or what those efforts have uncovered while the investigation is underway. Again, our restraint in sharing details of the investigation is not a refusal to share the truth. It is our commitment to protect the process that allows the truth to be known with confidence.
As of now, Jackson County authorities have not publicly released a statement specifically addressing the alleged background voices that many listeners believe they hear in the Maritime Assistance recording. There has been no official confirmation, no public rejection of those interpretations, and no announcement explaining whether investigators have conducted a forensic analysis of that portion of the audio. The recording has circulated widely following its release through a public records request and subsequent national reporting, but officials have remained largely focused on the broader investigation rather than commenting on individual audio claims. The investigation itself, however, continues to expand. Authorities have confirmed that the FBI is assisting with portions of the digital evidence review. More than 60 witnesses have reportedly been interviewed, and Sheriff John Ledbetter has acknowledged federal involvement in the case. Even with those developments, one question continues to dominate public discussion. What, if anything, do the disputed background sounds actually reveal? At this point, investigators have not publicly provided an answer. Warren Hudson has also spoken publicly on multiple occasions about the events surrounding July 4th. While his interviews have addressed several aspects of the timeline, the alleged background voices heard in the recording have not been publicly explained. Whether that subject has been investigated, ruled out, or remains under review has not been disclosed by authorities. Another unresolved issue involves the digital evidence. According to previous public statements, both parties had agreed to a joint inspection of mobile phones connected to the investigation. That examination has reportedly not yet occurred. Nolan's phone, the device his family has publicly claimed may have contained deleted information after his body was recovered, has not, according to public reporting, been subjected to the independent review the family has requested. Authorities have not publicly commented on the status of that examination or whether additional digital analysis remains ongoing. As the criminal investigation continues, the legal process is moving along its own separate track. Grand jury proceedings follow procedures established under state law, and officials have not announced a public timeline for when evidence will be presented or when additional findings may become available. For Nolan's family, that uncertainty has meant continuing to seek answers through other legal avenues. That effort became public when Christine Wansley filed paperwork asking the court to appoint her, as the administrator of her son's estate. There was no major announcement, no public event, and no dramatic press conference. Instead, it was a quiet legal filing, a procedural step that many grieving families are required to complete following an unexpected death. To supporters of the family, however, it symbolized something much larger, a mother continuing to navigate a process that still feels filled with unanswered questions. According to family members, Nolan had celebrated the 4th of July on Horn Island before. It was a tradition shared by many along the Mississippi Gulf Coast, and he had reportedly spent previous holidays in the same area with several of the same people. This time, however, the celebration ended in tragedy. The estate filing itself did not seek criminal charges or attempt to force testimony. Instead, it asked the court to formally recognize Christine as the legal representative of her son's estate, so she could handle matters that remained tied to the ongoing investigation. For many observers, that quiet courtroom filing underscored just how much of the family's search for answers has unfolded outside the public spotlight. During a public statement, the family expressed hope that investigators would continue pursuing every available lead. They explained that receiving preliminary independent autopsy findings while still waiting for additional official conclusions had been both painful and deeply concerning. Throughout the investigation, they have repeatedly emphasized that their primary goal is to understand exactly what happened to Nolan. According to his family, Nolan's final conversation with his mother ended with him telling her he loved her before leaving home on July 4th. Since then, one disputed recording, an evolving GPS timeline, ongoing forensic reviews, and multiple unanswered questions have kept this investigation in the national spotlight. Whether future evidence ultimately confirms or challenges the public speculation surrounding the case remains to be seen, but for Nolan Wells' family, the search for clear answers is still far from over. If you're following this investigation, stay tuned as additional verified information becomes available. As new court filings, official statements, or investigative developments are released, they may help clarify questions that have remained unresolved since the very beginning of this case. Until then, the investigation continues, and so does the family's pursuit of answers.